As in Utah, when I was a boy, everybody knew what a downwind was. We were the anti-nuclear capital of the world. I was an autistic kid.
I'm here.
My father was a drafted United States Marine, an incredible man. I come from an incredible family. My uncle stood on Omaha Beach on D-Day. I grew up on a huge ranch out by the lake. He was a beautiful, incredible person. He was at Pendleton, combat ready, and they were human guinea pig. They were marched into the trenches in Nevada. They're called atomic veterans. He nearly died at the blast. Between 1951 and 1968, we had 300 open-air tests. Well, as different scientists started to write about this, Wallace Stegner was at the University of Utah at the time. I got to know him. Edward Abbey was hanging around there. I got to know him. I got to know all these environmentalists, and I was an environmentalist, and it was a passionate, intense subject matter there.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. Bloomgate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. Bloomgate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. They'll be calling you a radical. May God have mercy on all of your souls.
Nuclear power was evolving. We were promised, oh, this can't happen. It will never happen. We cannot have a meltdown.
Well, good morning. Hope you're all curled up all nice in your dogma, watching Fox, CNN, licking your gun barrels, watching your gold portfolio. We got major deflation going on, which has been going on for a while. We got major death going on the Pacific Ocean, which everybody can go into now. I'm going to talk a lot about the Fukushima dynamic. I'm going to talk a lot about the denial. And that's the phase that it's beyond denial right now. I'm going to talk about three different people that I know. One passed away yesterday on YouTube, a YouTuber who attacked me and attacked me and attacked me. An alternative medicine guru, 47 years old, she's dead. I'm going to talk about my friend Naomi, dead, alternative medicine guru. I'm going to talk about these people. The one got cancer after, all three of them got cancer post I got cancer. They're all three dead, by the way. One 48 female, one 62-year-old female, and another 38-year-old male. All three are dead. And I'm going to talk about this. This is the arrogance of the American. Vespucci. There's a cure for cancer. There's no fucking cure for cancer. The only people die a day. Now, cancer is the normal dying process when you're 100 years old or in your 90s, whatever. Cancer is the normal way to die. People say, oh, they can find cancer in dinosaurs. Of course. All cancer is free radical cells gone rogue eating healthy cells. As the cells rejuvenate every 30 days on the skin, whatever. By the way, I've had some major health issues the last little while. Major. I feel so much better. My doctors, I got to talk to them yesterday. They're like, oh, you do, Kevin. You're pretty amazing. I had some serious bleeding going through my arms, rashes. AML comes back 75% of the time. It comes back in type of, that I had it, probably in the 90s. It's very nerve-wracking. It's very nervous. But I still have people telling me how to survive, what to do. Here, you need to get on this, please. How long have I been fighting this disease now? Less than 1% survival. I'm alive. Not only alive, I live every day. I live. That's one of the big key components. So, my friend Naomi, beautiful. Looked 20 years younger than she was. Beautiful mind, incredible. Alternative food, alternative medicine guru her whole life. Really a brilliant woman. So dogma-dug, and you could never have a conversation with her about anything. She got her mind made up about everything and everybody. One of the most brilliant, beautiful people I ever knew. Had dogma in her brain as hard as almost anybody I've ever known. No pragmatism whatsoever to her. She gets cancer. I find it's just a simple lump in her breast. She's going to treat it with wheat germ. I'm like, go get it cut off. Just go get it cut off. The survival rate's 98%. Just go get it cut out. It's not that bad yet. It's not into your freaking lymph nodes. It's not into your liver. Get it cut off. Be done with it. Oh, no, I'll never do that. And then they want to put me on light chemo, blah, blah. It'll give you chemo braid, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, let's get the fucking thing cut out. We'll do it. I'm going to trade alternative. She tried her alternative medicine for about a year. Sure shit in her lymph nodes. Then she upped the ante on her freaking. She's on the freaking oils, cannabis oils. She's on the wheat germ. She's on the vitamin C injections. You name it. She's on it. Killed her so fucking fast. These cells, the normal death process is cancer. That's how you're going to die, when you're old. That's how it goes. Most of it ends up in the lungs and pneumonia because that's the soft tissue. Whatever, natural causes is cancer when you're old. All it is, cancer's simple. Something triggers inside your body and makes this process of the cells rejuvenate, make it think it's time to die. Too young. Which we know environmental poisoning, radiation, is the big one. It tricks the body. The human genome does not know how to handle it because it's so new. Okay, for instance, like a Native American when they fed them alcohol. How long have the Anglo-Saxons had to genome to adapt to alcohol? They did. Same with nuclear fallout. Now, Einstein was asked many times. By the way, he was brilliant. It was not his mathematical skills. Everybody always told it was his intuitive mind. The dude got it. Will the human genome catch up with radiation? Yeah, maybe in 100 generations, he said. But it will be the next 2 or 3 generations that will pay. They will pay, and they will die of cancer dramatically too young. That's exactly what's going on. Body can't catch up. Body can't handle it. Those cells get triggered on. So my daughter says, those things go mad, and how do you turn them off? Nobody knows that secret, and it's not a secret. I call it the lights. My daughters are like, you scared the fuck out of cancer. Because I was so focused on my life as far as fighting these nuclear rats, my path and my journey, my grandchildren, my children, my love for life, my love for the environment, love for the birds, my love for the animals. I still can live abstractly. I can still find my place in the sun. I can still do it. I can do it in New York City. I can do it in San Diego. Even though there's 6 million people in San Diego County, I can still find my niche. I know how to get up in Pacific Beach, my place, in the mornings and have it all to myself. I walk down the center of the streets when there's cars jammed everywhere. I know, go to bed at night because it's a freaking drunken theme park. It's insanity, but you can find your niche. In New York City, I know still down in the Village. I know still down at Washington Square. I still know Lower Manhattan during the day is grand. Nobody's there. I still know that Brooklyn is a community. It is a neighborhood where people can still talk. You can sit, at Fort Greene on the bench in the little park and have conversations. A community. You can go in the coffee shops and people know you and recognize you that you'll see every day. Hey, how's it going, Kev? How's it, I know those places still exist all over. Not much of America. I know that I can still go to the mountains and I can still go to the lake and I can still go up my place and I can go for my walks and I can still spot some animals, some birds. They're being killed. Look, beetles disappearing at Farmington Bay is a major deal. We can go all the way back, and there's several websites. The one website that's been on it, End Times Prophecy. Now, I don't buy into the far-right, Bible-thumping, dogma-freaking, radical freaking, really far radical freaking literal Bible contexters. I think they've lost I think they're totally insane. The whole end prophecy time, I don't buy it. I really do not buy it. I'm more in a native philosophy, and I believe in the teachings of Jesus Christ big time, in the real ones of who he was as the activist, as the radical. I don't believe in usury. I don't believe in a lot of these things. Feed the hungry, feed the poor. I believe that it's a community and it's a fellow man, and I believe in all those things, which I think Buddhism believes in that. I think most religions at the core. The rest of it's just all hyperbole. So I have two more friends that really attacked me in a vicious way. You took care of your king. Look, ML de Novo. ML is a brutal, brutal killer. It's blood cancer of the bone marrow. We know there is only one known cause: exposure to radiation. Now, can it come through the genome? Of course it can. We know that the atomic veterans, like my father, there are multiple ones coming forward that I'm exposing more every day. There's a guy who came to me yesterday whose father died in 1993 who's in the trenches with my father. Now he's got leukemia. We know this is happening. We know that we were mutated. We know this is happening. Our bodies can't catch up. We're trying. I've run this hypothesis by my doctor. My lead doctor is anti-nuclear as it gets. He's from Copenhagen. He's probably, a lot of people believe him to be the greatest oncologist in the fucking world. He's an incredible man. I run these hypotheses by him. I says, here's my philosophy on my cancer. His name's Finbo. I'm like, my philosophy is this. My body's been fighting this since I was mutated at birth. I have a twin sister. That's a mutation by definition. We were both born sick, had all kinds of problems. My body's been fighting. I grew up on a dairy farm in a huge ranch, yet I refused to drink milk. I was actually allergic to it. Now we know that the milk was so incredibly radiated in those days. It was my natural body fighting off all these different things. I was staying away, and I was avoiding different things and whatever. I remember I was working a construction job when I was really young, and we went all the way to Atomic City. And, there was a job up there, and I got the worst vibe ever. I said, fuck this. I told the guys, I'm going home. What do you mean? You can't just go. I said, fuck you. And I hitchhiked home. It was my intuitive mind knowing my body can't handle any more of this. So my leukemia went presented into my lower bowel in tumors, and thus the misdiagnosis. Shane Russell says it perfectly. He says, your bone marrow won the fight. Now the rest of the fight was going on because my genome was fighting, pushing it out. Thus it presented in tumors. My doctors will even tell you, because I have multiple bone marrow biopsies, that's the only way they tell. They're brutal. They're going through your head, blah, 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 blah. Finbo is dynamic enough to understand this thesis. He has Danish philosophy. I had a dream before I got sick, right before I got sick, a couple weeks. One of the most incredible dreams I ever had, utopics. I know that Danish philosophy believes in tuning into the subconscious. You can't trick it. You can't fool it, and you freaking listen to it. He's like, hold on to that dream. Hold on to that dream. And so he and I made the decision not to have the bone marrow transplant based on another guy named Brian Morse, who's very much like me, who they thought would die. Same dynamic. Utah, multiple generation, father downwinder, the whole situation. Father died younger, as my father did. And so, and he didn't die. Intense like I am, very similar, same age, but now there's another one of us, by the way. So Finbo was creative, and he overrode the team in there. He overrode everybody, and then Vince got involved, and he's like, look, this guy's cancer is different. It's evolving differently because of his path. It's fighting. He's fighting. Let's just watch him. They gave me Arithine M squared. They wanted to do it 5 rounds. After 3, my body wouldn't recover anymore. I think they thought I was going to die. I don't think he did, but I think most of them did think I was going to die. And we just gave up. They said, well, he's, and then he and I made the choice. I had to pray about it, and I had to really, you saw I did those videos when I had to get whether I had the bone marrow transplant or not. So I had 2 YouTubers going after me like crazy. But I took it. Both of them got cancer post. Both of them are gurus on alternative medicine. They're both dead. Any arrogant fuckhead that thinks there's a cure for cancer, that's exactly what they are. They can YouTube, they can write books, they can bullshit, they can do whatever they want. Now, there's lots of preventative stuff before you get cancer. And there's lots of stuff you can do if you get chronic. There's the chronic leukemias are very different. There's absolutely, if you have chronic leukemia and you're not changing your lifestyle, doing all these things, vitamin C, freaking all these different things, you're a fool. Absolutely. Live like you have cancer before you have cancer. I use that line over and over and over. But once it's acute, once you get a cancer in there, no. You can fool yourself. You go into freaking denial and think, oh, the medical industry, they got a cure. No, they don't. No, they don't, because it's the natural process. Look, you can look at these cells under the microscope. The disease evolves with the medicine. Look, when you go in, the first thing they do is lumbar puncture you and inject you in your lower spine because they know it's so sneaky it hides there. It hides behind the eyes. It masks itself. There's the big thing. We hear it all the time. For instance, there was a study that came out of Canada 2 years ago, somebody sent to me. He says, cannabis with acute AML leukemia shows promising results. Okay, so I read through the whole study. I'm like, wow. 26 patients. Then you read through this all 26 patients died. All 26. Promising results. Here's the deal. Our hospital's smart enough and dynamic to know. There's a list. They won't even let you drink green tea when you're under freaking treatment. We have a hardcore regimen on what can go on your body for a simple reason. They have to be very creative and dynamic to try to read these blood works because they can't bone marrow block you every day. You lay you on your back, they dig through your hip, hook your bone marrow. They're brutal. And so what goes into your body will mask the blood works. Now, there was this silver supplement that was circulating around through the Mormon community because the Mormon community, the Utah community, is very much into the Ponzi scheme, dynamic. I mean, 90% of these, this Vivid Home Arena thing, that's a Ponzi scheme. All these Ponzi schemes through the dynamic, which I call an Amway on Balco. Utah's famous for them. That's the economy here, pyramid scheming. There was a silver supplement that was running through that. It's an Amway business model. And with two guys in the hospital saying, oh, yeah, look at my blood works. It masked the blood works. It's evening out. I told this guy, that's all it's doing to you. And the doctors are trying to tell him this. No, you're not getting better. You're not getting better. You're masking our blood works. You're making it difficult for us. You have bone marrow freaking blood cancer. He died so fast, mowed him down. So they're both dead. One of them died yesterday. I got an email. And this is a guy who went after me, called me every name in the fucking book, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I have a long path with fucking cancer. I watched my father die. My dad was the most healthy dude you ever see. Never had a cavity in his life. I never remember a sick day in his life except when he came home from the Marines and he'd have those seizures and he'd have amnesia. Never had a cold. Never had a flu. Never in my life, ever. Never had a cavity. I mean, just this incredible genome. It mowed him down so fast. Once it hit him, fucking killed him deader than fuck. I know how it goes. These are brutal, wicked cancers. And we're going to talk about Fukushima in symphony with these cancers and the denial. And the people saying, there's YouTubers and vloggers out there. They're recording themselves like fucking morons and fools, saying, oh, we're just scared. What? So Fukushima happens. I say, look, they're dumping plutonium into the Pacific Ocean. There's the videos to prove it. What the fuck? They're going to genocide the Pacific Ocean. They're going to genocide. We're going to have a cancer epidemic. Then I get cancer. You can watch my whole path, my fight. I'm alive. Make no mistake about this. I am alive. Nobody believed it. The only red 10 in the history, of 26-year history of the bone marrow transplant, to walk out. That's coming from the secretary, Celeste, who's an ex-model from New York City. When she's young, she don't look like no model now. She just retired, and she's one of these women, these New Yorkers. You know how New Yorkers are a lot. That's why I love them so much. They don't hold anything back. They say what's on their mind. Come here, Calvin. I got to tell you something. All the patients coming here, you got to be one of my favorites. He says, you talk to everybody. You don't care what anybody fucking says about you. People tell you to shut up. You tell them to fuck off. She says, I prepared your paperwork the day you come in. I really expected to be preparing your paperwork going out that week in a body bag. I can't believe you're alive. She says, you were so sick. I don't believe it. Fred 10, you should be very proud of yourself, what you've done, your intensity. I've never seen one walk out without a bone marrow transplant, let alone without a bone marrow transplant. The fight. because I stand on the right side of this fucking nuclear polluting fucking issue. Denial is death. False equivalency is death. It's simple. You know, and I use the old Bush line, you either with me or you without me, which was very true. One of the very true things that Bush said. And moron, I always thought he was the dumb one until I listened to Jeb speak. It's true. You were either with him or you were without him. I was without him. I fought him tooth and nail on the invasion. It's still false equivalency. It's the same thing with me. You know, you're either with me or you're against me. Period. There's no gray. There's no gray. I hear people all the time say, oh, we don't believe you. And then they'll come back and say, I used to think you was crazy. Whatever. I really don't give a fuck. I'm not here to fucking spoon feed the masses. I'm not here to be a conformist. I'm not here in a popularity contest. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to fucking call out and to let people survive. The truth is the fucking truth. 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. The false equivalency, the hairspray masquerade party. Look, this country's fucked, and everybody knows it is right now. Have you seen the debt? Have you seen the participation rate? And everybody says, oh, it's always been. No, it's not always been this way. This is in a very acute, epic time we live in. Very acute, epic time. We've never had a debt structure like this. We've never had a participation rate. The globalist fucking, that you all fell for. Johnny got his gun, he's self-indulged, you licked your gun barrels, you bought your gold bars, you fucking lost your job, you let them take your job to China, you fucking rush hour at 4 or 5 in the morning. It has been an epic, epic, epic disaster. This country was protectionist. Now, Trump talking about freaking tariffs on the right side, but he just fucked himself yesterday. He's done now. Trump will lose now. He'll win the Republican. I'll tell you why he's going to lose. He just made the exact same mistake as John McCain made. The whole country knows Sarah Palin is freaking borderline retarded. She's a con. She's a fraud. She's everything that anybody, right, left. I mean, he wants to pander to his far-right radical base, but he didn't need that. He didn't need that. Now, you think about who's really the Republican and who's the Democrat. Hillary's the Republican. Trump was the Democrat. Trump talks about tariffs, the old school. I'm not talking the Republican Bill Walmart Clinton. I'm not talking the Republican Barack Obama. Barack Obama, the biggest fraud, biggest liar money can buy in history, Goldman Sachs, freaking the nuclear industry ever bought. I'm talking about the old thesis in the Republican Party. Now, is there a switch in dynamic going? I don't think so. You know, because the RNC and the DNC are the exact identical same people. They just play it, which is all far-right globalist stuff. You don't believe that? It's true. Now, I'm not talking far-right as far as your dogma philosophy, because you've all red-pilled, blue-pilled. No, I'm talking the reality in old England and the United States political theater, conservative versus liberal, which is the old freaking way, the mindset. And you dance around that, which has always gone through political theater. It's just the way the human mind is structured and the way it is, and then the nuances. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking the nuance of right versus left, which has always existed. That's how political theater has always played. You can go all the way back to the fucking Greeks. You can go all the way back there. I'm talking the reality. So here's Trump. Trump's a tariff guy. He's a protectionist. That's Hamiltonian. That's both the Roosevelts. That's Abraham Lincoln. That's, remember, Lincoln was a Republican, so was Teddy, that switched the parties. Again, is he a transformational figure? He could have been. But he's not going to be, and I'll tell you why. Because the problem is he will pander to what has destroyed the Republican, which will lose the election for him. It will cost him the election. When he had it, nobody wants Hillary Clinton in there. Nobody wants her. We know she's a globalist, evil, rat. We're talking one of the disgustingest, most globalist flats that ever walked. I mean, she's so far right. I mean, this is the person that far right blocked. All the countries around the world blocked the food coming in from Fukushima. Not her. Open the door and let them in. Hillary Westinghouse Clinton. I mean, she's one of the globalist flats, far right, Harvard Law, neoconservative, globalist witches who are. She thinks she's the queen, which she is. She will win now. For one simple reason. She's going to win now. Because he's not going to be able to dance out of it now. He committed the cardinal sin yesterday. Look, Karl Rove from here. Karl Rove came from Colorado with a K. He's, changed his name to a K. His name's Roy C. And his ex-wife said he has a problem because she says he has the smallest penis. And well, that's his ex-wife. So he comes to BYU Law, the head of the freaking snake, the NSA cartel, BYU Law, where they all freaking evolved from, which destroyed the Mormon Church. By the way, they're going to name the English department after my aunt. May Blanch. That's my aunt. I come from, I think that's her. She was an amazing woman. She would roll over in her grave. What a brilliant woman she was. That's wow, what a freaking incredible. My daughter, I think, has her mind, that writing mind. They ruined it. They evolved. So he comes here in Colorado. He's head of BYU debate. He came here to Ogden, to Weber State, and we railroaded his ass out of town. That's why he set up shop in Texas, moved there. And it's been said, oh, he's a genius. He wrote his PhD. He wrote his whole thesis that if you want to control politics and steal elections, you have to do it through the Mormon Church and the evangelicals. And you have to trick them and get them to go and think and, prey on that. He wrote that, and everybody says, oh, he was a genius as a guru. He single-handedly destroyed at the presidential level, not at the local level. Because these districts are jerry-rigged, they are branded. These elections, in Utah, for instance, we have like 6 elections, Congress, Senate, whatever, nobody's even opposing them. We have one-party politics, red blue, 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 and it's jerry-rigged because people are dogmatic, they're branded, they're hypnotized, they're cartoon characters. And they go along. They've branded themselves with their own dogma, and you can't even have without having a party debating system that's very dynamic and well worked, you have no political theory, you have fascism. And Utah has that. Oh, almost all states do. What is there, 5-10 swing states that still have a pragmatic debate and a pragmatic theater? At the presidential election, in theory, we do. But we know these people just say one thing. Barack Obama tricked us big time. He was a far-right, radical, freaking globalist who's the most evil human being in the history of mankind to the environment. And I'll get into that. But he committed the crime. So Karl Rove did not only destroy it. You think what Karl Rove created as far as the political theater. They will never win an election. Never. That's why Trump's been able to rise up and just obliterate them. I mean, the whole RNC has been obliterated by Donald Trump. I mean, totally wiped out by Donald Trump. Because he understands that. He's a smart, shrewd guy in a lot of ways. Con man? Absolutely. Always has been. Ask his ex-wives. He says one thing, does exactly that, but he gets it economically on tariffs. But presidents are not kings. It doesn't matter what they say. It's Congress anyway. So they will never win a presidential election because Rove destroyed them. He painted them into a corner. They can't win. They can't win. He alienated the brown vote. He alienated the brown vote. He alienated the woman. Any woman. I mean, granted, as Hillary Clinton, women, any feminists that like guns out of their mind. They hate her, but Sarah Palin. So he just committed the cardinal sin. He's done. I'm telling you, he's done. He will win the nominee. He just handed the election on a silver platter to Hillary. Now, Bernie should beat Hillary, right? Well, because the Clinton machine's got it all rigged. You can't beat the Clinton machine because it's rigged. The DNC's rigged. Bernie had to sue the DNC. You think about Bernie and Trump, they're almost alike philosophically. Their platforms are almost identical. They're both pretty well independent. They both are protectionists. To make your own mistake, Trump is a freaking, what would have been considered a raving lunatic liberal in the old days. In the spirit, he's more like Kennedy in philosophical detail. He's more like a Roosevelt because he's a protectionist. The square deal, you hear him talk, he almost sounds like Teddy or FDR as far as the, deal. And then, yet, they'll call him, he's not a capitalist, by the way. He's the opposite of a capitalist. He's done nothing as far as capitalism theater. Everything that he's done has been through handouts and bank bailouts. He's the one that took that to the whole new level. If you owe the bank a little bit of money, you've got a problem. If you owe them a lot of money, it's the bank's problem. That's all he's done. He's played games with money. He's never been good really with money, but he's good with political theater. He's good with image. But when he named Sarah Palin, he's done. I'm telling you, he's done. He'll win the Republican. And I don't understand why he went there, because he didn't need to go there. He had it locked up, and then he could have moved to the center, and he could have took Hillary out. He could have took her out so easily. But he just handed her. But maybe that's what the whole plan was, huh? You know, Clinton and Trump are buddies, Bill. Oh, yeah, do not kid yourself. They're friends. You know, now he pivots away from that. But in the early days, he says, oh, yeah, Bill called me, they talked. Now, can you believe him? You don't know what to believe or not to believe. But I believe that he just handed Hillary the freaking election on a silver platter yesterday, which is sad. But it doesn't matter who's president. We know that. Haven't we learned our lesson? Doesn't matter. They got no political power. I mean, in detail. You know, it's just the way they invade countries. They can either do it boldly or they can do it passive-aggressively. To Barack Obama, he issues a statement yesterday on the Flint, Michigan thing. Now, think about it. This guy, he's just given up on being any kind of leader, commander. He's just acting like a normal citizen now. Now, remember, this is the President of the United States. He says, if I was a father, I've been outraged. You're the President of the fucking United States. Wow. The guy who covered... Now, let's talk about this guy. Environmentally. You know, and that's because me, I'm the environmentalist. Economically, fuck it. Don't even get... I taught economics and finance in the number one school of business in the United States, which they blackballed me. They blackballed, boy, they owe me a lot of money. And I'm going to expose those funny rats, University of General Electric, because they killed Clyde Cooley and then fucking railroaded me out of town. These fucking pieces of shit. Oh, I got them by the balls, and I'm going to get them. So, here he comes along. We didn't know anything about it. We were just anti-war because the country got looted from the wars. It was exposed. Even the Republicans, everybody had been hacked. They knew it. You know, by the way, as far as the old school Republicans go, I knew Frank Church personally. My grandma's from Idaho, you know, Ellicott Hartsick is a famous, she's an Idaho girl. Frank Church was amazing, man. How about Alan Simpson? I know Alan Simpson personally. Right here, wow, amazing, man, amazing. You go from that to Otter, I mean, Otter's insane, this governor of Idaho. You know, like our teabagger we have here, Terry Herbie. So, we come in, hopefully, the Republican Party, Eisenhower's daughter's words, completely hijacked by the far radical, gun-toting insane. And, you know, I'm not against anybody who owns guns. I think everybody, but they turned it into a insanity. I mean, I know people that have hundreds of guns. Hey, you walk in their house and they just like, you know, these people that commit these crimes, they're obsessed. That has really nothing to do with theater. It's the theater of the insane. They fed into it so far and so radically. And then on the left, you've got the neoliberalism. I mean, elitist, false equivalency. Look at my mortgage in San Francisco. It just keeps growing. I'm smart because Mommy said I'm smart. When they know nothing about political theater, they really don't understand it. So Obama as the person, this is where this guy, he's totally given up. I mean, he's just like, I'm just buying my time. You can see he gave up a long time ago. I'm just buying my time. You know, Bill Clinton, you can be like me. You can make fucking hundreds of millions of dollars at post-gate. I just play ball with these globalist rats. As Morgan said about Teddy, we bought the son of a bitch and he wouldn't stay bought. Oh, they bought Obama. They created Obama, and boy, he's freaking nothing black about him. He is one of the big participants in the social and qualitative dynamic, but environmentally, let's talk about this. BP happens. Going on 6 years. BP, nightmare. All it is a pipe in one of the wells is blown. The pipe needs to be plugged right now, or they're going to destroy the Gulf. He protects BP, British Petroleum. Now, you do know British Petroleum has merged with Shell in violation of antitrust laws. We quit enforcing antitrust laws which exist. Who created them? Teddy. In violation. So it's really the House of Windsor. It all goes back to the same group of elitists who own CNBC, who own NBC, who own... You know, look at the board of directors of CNN. They're all the same exact group of people. They're in Davos right now, by the way. With the first speaker at Davos was Edelman. Edelman, yeah, the PR firm, is talking about the disconnection between the elites and his thing. Yeah, that rat who's gone after us. Me, Dana, all of us. That's the rat. He's in Davos. The next speaker, the governor of Fukushima, is in Davos. Now think about that. Why would he be there? Because the globalist rat. Nuclear is the globalist agenda. So BP, he won't bomb it shut. The Navy wants in. I'm talking to people in the Navy. They want in. They just, we'll just go and bomb it to shut today. All they'd have to do is send a torpedo. They have the technology. It wouldn't even be a big explosion into the Gulf, whatever. They'd use a tactical, not nuke, no, just a tactical freaking thing. They could have went in, and the Navy had all kinds of different things, not even just a bomb. They could have went in, and the Navy had the technology to do it. Obama made the Navy stand down, told them to stand down. Because of the science and technology team, John Holdren, who's running the thing from Camp Berkeley, he listens to him. That guy's a fucking evil eugenics rat. So he stands down. He allows BP to come in and seal off public beaches. Now you think about that. British Petroleum, private security sealed off public beaches all across the Gulf. That's a fact. They burned the mammals at night. It's a fact. Remember, David Brinkley was all over CNN with Anderson Cooper going crazy. Brinkley was told to stand down, you know. Brinkley was, you know, the professor at Tulane who does great work, but he's passive aggressive, you know, brilliant freaking guy who's a big fan like I am of Rachel Carson's, a big environmentalist, fan of Teddy's just like I am. I mean, because Teddy set apart the parks. Well, it shows the shift in CNN, what's happened, folks, which they've admitted they've become just propaganda whores. They've admitted it, come out. We're just a propaganda PR machine. CNN says that. They'll say that. We change our business dynamic. So they still up, and then they allow this person to be sprayed for days, and I mean, he annihilated the Gulf. When it could have been handled the first day to protect British Petroleum, their board of directors, their CEO and his yachts, protect the globalists. That's what he did. That's what he did. He showed his colors right then. And his colors are not black. There's nothing black about him. His mother, you know, Stanley Dunham, his mom. That's his mom name, the white girl. You know, his mother worked for the CIA. His grandmother worked for the CIA. They worked for the World Bank, both of them. Both of them. It's unarguable. He was, you know, Harvard Law, hand-grown, picked, you know, abusive childhood, just like Bill. You know, they love these guys. So then Fukushima happens. I know for a fact that the Navy wanted it. I know what happened in the Situation Room. You can see Greg Jacka when he's on the hill, comes out. He's aghast. He made them stand down. Barack Obama, the commander-in-chief, we know who the commander-in-chief of the United States military is right out of the House of Windsor, told to stand down. John freaking Holdren from Berkeley, the nuclear cartel, the eugenicists, lied and said that they had a handle. They could handle this. Underground, they're already there. They have, you know, 2 million military personnel on the island of Japan. The admiral wanted them out. They wanted. That's why all A ships were sent in. That's why they keep kicking the can, delaying the case. USS Reagan versus TEPCO sailors versus, that's why the case. It's been ruled to go forward. Why they kick the can? They kick the can because they cannot get this exposed into the public domain. What really happened? So that's how this is playing out. So the greatest ecological catastrophe in human history unfolds. Obama just lets it unfold. How about the methane leak in freaking Los Angeles? That's an epic catastrophe. It's been going since October 24th. He knows it. The National Guard could go in and handle this right now. Bang, 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 bang. They don't. Why? Barack Obama he don't care. He don't care. This is the biggest abuser to the environment in human history. So Fukushima goes on. I say it's going to genocide the Pacific Ocean, and the Pacific Ocean is we're going to have a cancer epidemic. It's going to spike. I get cancer. You watch my thing play out. I fight them intensely at Radical. I travel all over the country trying to wake people up, trying to freaking get a platform, trying to get some freaking age, you know, hypothesize economically, socially, philosophically, all of it. The accuracy is staggering. Survive. The Pacific Ocean goes into major genocide. Now, when I'm first saying that, even a few years ago, everybody says, it took me a year and a half to convince anybody it was even a meltdown. Now it's just like, oh yeah, common knowledge. They boiled everyone like the frog. Like I said, they were going to 4 or 5 years. They'll say, and they'll freaking, that's how society works. That's how they played. And everybody's dumb enough in this country to go along with it. So here's the Pacific Ocean, the greatest ecological catastrophe, the greatest event in human history is unfolding right now in the Pacific Ocean. Has been for, I've been down there. I've been going to the Pacific Ocean. I've been walking and detailing. Wild critical condition, a lot of it. Very, very sick. Staying in a little dumpy-ass hotel in freaking Pacific Beach, in San Francisco, up and down, all over, in the Central Coast several times. I mean, I've been up and down at all of it, walking, trying to heal, let the sun heal, trying to be in symphony with the animals to heal, watching the Pacific Ocean die right under my nose. John Kirk, 3.5 years ago, telling me, Kevin, I'm a paddleboarder, on the biggest paddleboard business in Vancouver. I'm on the water every day, all day. I can see the freaking starfish are melting. I can see. This is 3.5 fucking years ago. I start reporting it. Starfish went first. I've walked all the typos. Now, we have Nottaway, who's down there now, he's great. He's the guy who shot the footage of me at the Million Bass March, thank God he did. He's at Morro Bay right now. He's awesome. He's been down there tracking, doing the same walk that I did last year. And he's saying the same thing I am. The tide pools are empty, no starfish, lots of dead bird carcasses, and he's got his Geiger counter, and he's getting the same results as I got a year ago. Same results as I got 3 years ago. So the starfish go first. Then we start to see reports that the moose are dying across North America. They're starting to go. Then, of course, the bald eagles are all dying. We get reports across that in North America. We're seeing cancer spikes starting to happen across North America. Then nobody thinks, I'm like, God, we're starting to see the sardine and anchovies. It's hard to tell that. We have to listen to the fishing industry that's been captured by one piece. So they start to go. We start to see the nuances. We start to see the lies coming out of Oregon, the fishing industry. So it's slowly evolving. Then last year, nobody believed me. I'm like, this is over about a year ago. I'm like, the sea lions are starving to death. And nobody believed me. So I go and do my walk. I'm the one that first broke that Dana Dumfer was doing his incredible, beautiful work in symphony with both the Palco freaking got him through his crowdfunded freaking operation, which, thank God Dana documented all that. It's incredible historic work. I'm really so proud of his work. He's so good. And he stands his ground. He's, wow. He documented, he knows his shit. He documented all the dying species and, the coast brilliantly, historically, incredibly. I'm walking around and saying, hey, are the sea lions down? I talk to them, oh, no, they're never seen one of them. Then I find the young Mexican boy. He says, no, Kevin, I work for the Rescue Foundation. So then he hooks me up, and I start talking to the private rescue missions. Because it's hard to tell walking, because they got it blocked up. You can't get in. They're all starving to death. It's freaking epic. It's on. I talked to 1,500 at San Simeon last year already, and this was in March. I'm like, oh, my God. So then I start harking down into places. The drunkards at the San Simeon where the elephants are breeding. Oh, yeah, look here, because they're just drunks in the bar, 70-year-old drunks who are out there with their wives. That's what they, look, I feel good, cartoon characters. Oh, they've never been so. I said, how the fuck would you know? You can't tell by looking at this. You got to get off this fucking, tourism spot. So I start hiking around. I start to see them. They're all over. Starving to death fucking mama elephants. Starving to death sea lions. Then the reports start to come out in Oregon. They're crawling up on the freaking docks. They got no fish. I'm like, oh, my God. Oh, my God, the anchovies and the sardines. And it's not that they move to colder waters. So let's spin it to El Nino. Because we know the anchovies and sardines, even if you move further into the Pacific, they're not catching any. So it's not heat. It's the sun, the red sun. So this just keeps evolving one species after another. I'm walking across. I looked at hundreds of thousands of tide pools, literally. I saw a couple little crabs, about one single fucking starfish. Not one. On the pillars at Avila, which they're so famous, at Diablo Canyon right there, on the pier, at Abysmal. I'm on all those piers. I'm looking at them. Nothing. There's no oranges. There's no blues. There's no nothing, just like Dunford's work. It's bleached out. Blaming it on freaking what? The plume? Oh, yeah, it's the plume. The plume is very real. Very real, the plume. But what is the plume? Fukushima. I call it plutonium. Absolutely. The heat source off Fukushima, gamma rays. So they lied about the gamma rays, now they're admitting the gamma rays. They just slowly boil the frogs. So the entire Pacific Ocean goes into an ecological catastrophe collapse. Now, I've never said one time that the Pacific Ocean was going to fucking die. I've never said that. I said it was going to be genocide, just like they did the California natives. Now, think about the genocide of the California native. Who invented genocide? California. Genocide was invented by, the United States with the Native Americans. Wallace Stegner, who I loved so much, he meant so much to me, who I knew so well from my grandparents. I used to stand in San Francisco with him and listen to him speak so often, you know, and hear. He was amazing. Richard Scowcroft, my grandma's friend, who taught with him, was the family friend, you know, the family thing. My grandpa Abraham Tonziger the Fourth, you know, they're all connected. I mean, amazing. Love the environment. Well, they used to take me with them when I was a little boy. If you think the Germans invented genocide, you know nothing about the American West. So the Native Americans of the California region, did they kill them all? Certain tribes, they fucking completely extinct them. That's exactly what's going on in the Pacific Ocean. Certain species going to go extinct. Other ones that survived, but look what they did. I mean, they annihilated them. Fucking annihilated them. That's what's going on in the Pacific Ocean. I keep in hope in my heart that the Pacific will fight back. I say it all the time. Mankind is no match for her. I hope. I mean, it's getting to the point now that I'm very, very fucking disheartened. I mean, I can't believe how epically and evil it's played out. No one gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck. The media's going to go along with this to their death. The fucking gun-toters and licking their gold bars on their fingers going to the elitists on the fucking left who think they're elitists, who are not elitists, and their false equity in California are going to go along to the death. The hypocrites in Sandal and Oregon, they're going to go along with it to their death. They're just going to die. I see people all the time dying of cancer because I was head of our support group. I had a lot of freaking people, and I with them as they die, as they're going through the process. Epic denial, right to their death. It's God's will. And no, it's not God's will. Tim Sheldon-Mays, no religious philosophy ever said that. Christianity surely never said this. You know, and then they got that, music did it. You know, these far righters are devil worshippers, baby eaters. I mean, these people are fucking nuts. They completely got mental issues. That's who took over the Republican Party. And then the false equivalency, look at me, I think Mommy told me I'm smart, took over the fucking left. It's gone. Compromised everybody with any logic and rational fucking reason. There's no pragmatism, there's no dynamic, there's no nothing. Now you got to realize the neo-feudal fucking system, once it was captured and taken in Europe, went on for 1,000 years. Is that what's going to happen here? I don't think so. I think there'll be a major revolution. I think the revolution is brewing. And I think it's going to be bloody, and I think it's going to be ugly. And I hope I'm not involved with that type of revolution because I'm a peace activist. I don't believe in violence, and I try to do it with my mind. And you know how I try to work, and I try to do it. But every time we get to the streets, they beat us up, they freaking abuse us. The police force jump on the very abusers that are abusing and squash these movements. Million Mass March, freaking Occupy, all of them. Incredible movements, but the military, which bows to the Queen, until the military fractures, until the radical police forces who are bowing somehow us against them, until that ends, until the far right, the far left, these freaking radicals realize this is a human family and it's the environment, the ecosystem, and you're not going to die from a terrorist. And until we come out of fear, they played fear to the 10th power. I mean, 9/11 to the 10th power. Can you believe how that worked? Still working. The getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, watching a 10-second Operation Foxconn through the news and watching that box has freaking ruined people. It's made them afraid. It's branded all kinds of dogma into their brain, right to their own death. They quit living. You know, we're going to put us in the FEMA camp. You're already in FEMA camp. You put yourself in it. It's called your mortgage, so we have major deflation going on. You look at every graph of every commodity, every one. Silver, as I said, I did videos. Get that silver at 47. I made a lot of money. I turned 3,000 into 700,000. Right on YouTube. Nobody wants to hear it because it's all dogma and people that tuned in because they're betting me gold's going to the moon. No, it's not. Silver's going to the moon. Well, I forked it all over. I mean, I got figuring out my portfolio. If I wouldn't have had to fork it over to get in the bone marrow plant thing, we're talking many, many millions of dollars it would have been worth. I had all kinds of fucking derivatives on these. I was on the right side of all these trades. In the options market. Wow. But it wasn't my place. It wasn't my time. But so you pull up graphs on all commodities. They're off the cliff. The only one that's not off the cliff is gold, but it's off the cliff, and that's coming. That's coming. You know, gold, oil, and these all mirror each other. Think about oil. Oil was $14 a barrel when Bush stole the election. It went to $160. They're profitable at $14 a barrel. Oil companies are profitable at $14 a barrel. Think about how much money they looted at $160. I'm sitting right next to Flying J right now. He took them apart. I knew Jay Call. My grandpa and him were friends. They destroyed that business in 2 weeks because they're too stupid to hedge their portfolio through the derivative market because they got caught up in far-right radical dogma. A fucking guy named Carter, that piece of shit, he bought a fucking inventory of oil. It's sure it's going 200 because he bought into the fucking Fox News rhetoric. And it went from 160 to 80, and they were naked. Destroyed the business in 2 weeks, bankrupt a business that took fucking multiple generations to build up. One of the fastest, best-growing, well-built fucking run places that he destroyed it in 2 weeks. Look at every single graph. It's all off. It's deflation. Deflation bad? No, deflation is good. Who does deflation hurt? The asset class. But everybody thinks they're the asset class, which they are by default because of their mortgage, what they've done. That's what everybody's built their own personal Ponzi scheme called their house. They're scared to death. Look, the 0% interest rate, which is always supposed to be an aberration, a tool to be used in a very short, acute time. It's been pretty well zero for 15 years. It ran its course. It can't work anymore. They shut the course. Now, the other commodity, the stock market. The stock market's gone from 7,000 to 18,000. It's getting a correction going on it. But here's the thing. Why are they not letting the deflation happen inside the equity market? Because they've got it manipulated. I was a derivative arbitrage specialist on Wall Street, which, by the way, I was very good. I hedged portfolios. Good foundation. Buy puts on high dividend yielding stocks, which is very responsible. These hedge funds aren't hedge funds. The whole computer system took it over. Well, they've got it manipulated through computers. They're manipulating this market with just fucking computers anytime they want. It's all manipulated now. They're saying, oh, gold and everything. Yeah, them shiny fucking yellow rocks out of the fucking dirt. That's how some of it. I love how the counterculture movement, the fiat currency is to be gold. But who owns all the gold? Who created the gold? The monarchy, the House of Windsor. The Queen created the whole freaking shiny yellow rock out of the fucking whole thing. It's very common. It's in the dirt everywhere. Come to Nevada. I'll take you out here. They're strip mining the whole fucking country. Ship right to think. They control the whole market. One of the inbreds will sell on the other brands. You got the Russians, all the monarchies. That's how they support their monarchies. Is your fool fucking? It's fool's gold. Real gold is fool's gold. It's same with diamonds. They're not fucking uncommon. Diamonds are everywhere. The beers. It's a fucking monopoly. It's a, it's a shakedown. All of it. But you got deflation. It's going on. Look at every single commodity. Deflation. Where's the last shoe to drop? Your house. Oh, gold. As I did it when gold was 1,900. Did a video to the day. Get out. It's going to 500. Everybody pulled back from me. I have bets all over, including when Max Kaiser owed me $10,000. I bet him that gold would weaken. I bet him that silver would go under 20 before it went to 200. Oh, he won't pay. None of them will pay. None of them will pay. But my money went to pay for my bone marrow transplant, or my stay in the bone marrow transplant. I didn't have it for bone marrow transplant. My stay, which it was intense in there for a long time. The housing bubble is going to burst again. It's inevitable. They have no tools this time. The so-called elitists are so disconnected. They're in Davos. They're at Bilderberg. They think they're above it. That's why I went all in Fukushima, because I'm a socioeconomist. I'm about social inequality, and I understand the tools to fix it. But Trump talks about tariffs. The only thing that will fix it. The only thing that will fix it. Congress is not going to bat. And Forbes magazine, the same guy that wrote the Potato Chips Banana, come out and says Trump wants us to be poor through tariffs. This is how ignorant and dogmatic. No. The best thing that could ever happen to a working class, to a middle class, is tariffs. You can't compete with slaves in China. You can't compete with them. Oh, your Walmart stuff's going to cost more. Yeah, $2,300 that you save at Walmart? No, you don't. Go buy something at Walmart. How quick does it wear out? It's junk. Where they took your job. Walmart rolled into town, and they import how much freaking goods from China a day? They took out the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. They took them all out. All of them. They took your business. They took your fucking job, the globalists, and replaced it. There's fucking 3 billion workforce in this country. Slavery's legal in Indonesia. They're killing your shrimp. They're making your iPhone. They're doing slavery's legal. So the average hourly wage on Earth is 37 cents an hour. Compare it. The workforce in the United States is about 100 million. By the way, participation rate is the lowest in the history of the country. That means people act working. They open the borders, it isn't illegal. We never had a border. They let people exploit it, and then 20 years later they say they're going to clean it up when people were freaking grown up here. They are the economy now. The young Mexican is American now. They grew up here. But it's ignorance and dogma. So when the housing bubble bursts this time, it's going to be a fucking disaster, and it's going to bust, especially in California. It's going to bust, and it's a false set of values anyway, because you think you have all that equity, so you run and borrow more money. All it's doing is supporting municipalities. That's why the military police force has grown up. That's why local municipalities have grown up, because the only tax base is property tax. You go to Ireland, they'll say, how come you Americans can't own anything? What are you talking about? Property tax. So they just raise property tax because it's the only tax base. There's no middle class, who always was the tax base. Corporations pay no taxes illegally in violations. Tim Cook said, we don't have to follow the law. Well, I don't like laws either, but get them changed. Just because you don't like a law doesn't mean you don't have to follow them. They don't. They don't pay any taxes, zero. Yet they use our roads, they use our surfaces, they use everything to create their dynamic on these corporations. They run to the Fed window, and they're an American company. Anytime it meets their dogmatic benefit, they can get free money at 0% anytime they want. But when it comes to taxation, they're not an American company. So they use both sets. We're multinationals. No, we're headquartered in Ireland. We're headquartered in the Caymans. We're headquartered in China. Until they want to run to the Fed window, then they're American. So they play both sets of rules. Teddy knew this. That's why antitrust laws existed. They still exist. We refuse to enforce them. We don't need new laws. We need enforcement of the laws that exist. It's going to pay someone cash. They still do it. It's a disaster. It's a nightmare. It's going to happen. It's already happening. It's happening. The market, oh, yeah. I mean, you're getting ready to retire. I know the redemptions are coming in heavy right now because the baby boomers getting to be 70 years old, in their 60s. They need their money out, the ones that ain't dead yet. They're dying off so fast anyway. They're dying off quick. So, because nobody took care of themselves, and Fukushima, the great equalizer, because it kills rich people too. That's why I thought, well, they'll wake up. This will be the social inequality issue that will wake everybody up on social inequality, not just environmentally, because this is your life. This is your health. That should trump everything, right? But, I mean, I'm telling you, I sure weren't having dreams about girls on money when I was inside the freaking bone marrow transplant going in a coma. I would have dreams about water. I have dreams about food, about my children, about my grandchildren, about my walking, about just simple things like going for a walk. That's what I have dreams about. It doesn't matter about money. That's my point. This is the great equalizer. Fukushima. The Pacific Ocean's dying. Don't you see it? The greatest ecological catastrophe, which became Pacific. By the way, that punk that stole Plumgate from me, a lot of people stole that. I'm the guy that said all these things in the frig. Science fiction economics, they tried to steal that. Barry Antoinette, and so many of these things. But, the Great Pacific Genocide, that's mine. And that's yours. That's ours. Because the storms rise up off the ocean, and you're all in denial. In your house, and you're freaking, watch the game. Lucas Stadium. Think about it. The NFL playing in Lucas Stadium. The guy who's been accused of killing more African-American children than anybody in 100 years, Lucas. NFL, antebellum, slave South, great-great-grandsons are running down the field. 90% of the NFL is African-American. Comes from antebellum slaves with hair extensions from executed Chinese prisoners playing in Lucas Stadium. Lucas Oil Stadium. Look him up. Dana did a great piece on it. The guy's been accused for killing more children in Africa in the last 100 years than even Rhodesia. You got Rhodes Scholar, Bill Walmart Clinton. Now think about that. Releasing the homeless to the lions in frickin', but at least when Rome burned, there was some romance. There's no romance here. No one's fiddling. Nero can't fiddle here. There's no music because they captured the music. You're going to be the next American Idol. You're going to be the next. You're going to win the lottery. Who would want it? We know people that freaking come into a windfall of cash within 18 months. 88% of them lives are worse off than when they got it at any sum, at any freaking thing. We know that. That's proved. That's well documented by many people. So even if you do become one of those who wants to be, I want you to look up Lucas Oil. Who he is. Look him up. Dunford did a great piece on this guy. Think about the dynamic. Wow. Go slaves. The NCAA, SEC made $41 million, got $3 million. NCAA is a slave league. And everybody goes along. You're going to be the next King James. You're going to be the next American Idol. Who the fucking want to be? Stan Tuner. I'll be in New York tomorrow. I got some plans with some media outlets there.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical.